the Claremont Classic Garage. This is a big day for us. For the first time in 3 years, I guess, since COVID hit. It's Heritage Day at the Uxbridge Township Museum. So we got the big blue beast here. We're going to roll it up onto a trailer and go to a tractor show. Well, it didn't kill the trailer, and the truck seems to be okay too, so I guess we won. Off we go. We're giving the old Ram 1500 a little bit of kind of heavy towing testing here today. We'll see how she does. I'm looking in the mirror, and it does look like the back of it is drooping down a little bit, but the airbags we installed are definitely helping. While we're here, it's pretty quiet. There's usually like rows and rows of tractors and the hit and miss engine guys, and they have a thrashing machine here and all kinds of stuff, but it's just dead. There's a few old cars, some display of motorcycles. Anyway, well, we'll make the best of it. Hopefully a few other tractors will show up. All right, well, we're gonna get our tour of the show started. A couple more tractors have turned up, thankfully. It's just, with the pandemic and everything, this kind of came together at the last minute. So I guess not a lot of the tractor people heard about it, or they've got something else on the go today. There's quite a few old cars here, despite this being the same weekend as Motorfest in Oshawa. It's a huge show, one of the biggest car shows in Canada. But we got some old cars here, so let's go have a look. Nice Massey Harris 22. Cute little tractor. How about a fire truck? Wow. Nice panel truck. This Mustang is really nice. Red Mustang convertible. That gets me every time. This car is beautiful. This is cool. 69 Firebird with the overhead cam 6-cylinder engine in it. These were pretty neat back in the day. You could get it with a 2-barrel or with a 4-barrel. This is the 4-barrel version.
The more vehicles you have, the less you drive on them, right?
With a stick shift, probably a really fun car to drive. It's got the hood tack on it. And there's the badge. 4.1 liter overhead cam. I think it's 69. I think that's the last year for this engine, if I am correct. And 65 Ford. Ready for the high banks. This is pretty cool. The fellow made this. See, it's from made from a Volkswagen Bug, or Bug parts anyway. Pretty cool. This car's been around for years. The fella enjoys it so much. This MG is pretty snazzy too. Wow. Fun little car. Little British sports cars weren't particularly fast, but you didn't have to go fast to have a lot of fun. Here's the small engine display. These are actual machines. That this one is. It's got some scarifiers on it, and so does this one. Here's a little pump. These little engines saved a lot of work on the farm. So this is the old newspaper building, correct? Could you explain a little bit of what happens in how this stuff works?
Wow, yeah, okay. This is a letterpress shop, so this would be like a newspaper shop. it represents sort of the early 20th century, right through to the middle of the 20th century. And so we have both handset type in here, and we also have an intertype machine, which is a mechanical type setting.
Oh, okay.
And then we have a couple of different printing presses. We have over here a little treadle drop-in press, foot treadle. And then the later version, the same thing as the Heidelberg at the back here, which is all automatic. It feeds the paper automatically.
So that's electric, that one. And this one's people power.
This is people power.
All right.
Yeah, yeah. And so we have a good range of technology here. We have wood type for doing poster work.
Oh,
as well as
wow.
all these other cabinets called metal type for doing advertising, this kind of thing that you see in the newspaper.
So this would be a lot of work to put a newspaper together.
There's a lot of it.
Yeah.
And that machine made a huge difference.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah. And I don't know if you have any interest in typewriters. We have a very interesting typewriter here. If you look at that keyboard, see if you recognize it.
No, it's not a QWERTY.
It is not a QWERTY. This typewriter is designed to train people to run that machine.
Oh, fantastic.
So there's no shift mechanism on that. So you have to have lowercase letters, uppercase letters. The numerals all have to be separate.
Wow.
So it's a completely different arrangement. And it's designed for speed.
Real. That's great. Thank you for the explanation. I have one more question. When you're cutting 2x4s, do you put that pencil in your ear?
Exactly. Only if we're cutting 2x12s.
Okay.
We have a different one for the 2x12s.
Thank you very much. This here is the Scott Township Municipal Hall. It's a lot of artifacts in here. This is a big display about all the people from Uxbridge that served our country in the Great War. That's Major Sharp. He's a pretty famous guy in Uxbridge. This is a whole collection across here of all kinds of different vintage washing machines. They're all mostly hand-powered, except this guy. It's electric. There's the ringer. Don't get your fingers in that. Here's a barn to scale, just like our big barn that we keep all our stuff in. Gives you an idea of how they're built, the post and beam construction. It's beautiful, really. Here's a bunch of grinding stones from the mill, or a mill, I guess. I don't know where the mill was. This, unfortunately, is a disaster for Uxbridge. You see that huge tree stump over there? On May 21st, when we had the derecho windstorm, that huge tree came down on top of this building. And it was full of artifacts, too. It was a meeting hall that was brought here from, I can't remember, somewhere in the municipality, and it was brought to the museum. But hopefully they'll be able to save it, but that's going to be a lot of work. I remember now, that's right. It's the Lodge Hall. It came from Victoria Corners, which is up Durham 23. This wall is pretty much the only wall of it that's still up, and it's splayed out. The roof and everything is all dropped down on the inside of it. It was a terrible mess. I came by here after the storm and saw the tree sitting on top of it. It broke my heart, it really did. This is the Quaker Hill School. You can see the bell up on the top of it there. Let's go see what's in here. Built in 1924. And this is what an old one-room schoolhouse looked like inside.
Yeah, but what was the year?
Here's a bunch of old farm implements, wagons and stuff.
You know, as a good businessman, the same as like most of the working class Bahamas, right? I mean, nobody is a better corporate citizen. Oh, my Ginger might be. Ginger's very close. They just want to. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's good. Yeah, it's good. And so, and you come out.
Pretty cool. It's here, dog power. I got a couple of dogs that could run that. All this stuff, all implements designed to make life on the farm easier for people. Wow, look at this gas pump. It's got to be 10 feet tall. Here's a few old dirt scoops. And over here we've got a horse-drawn plow. You could probably pull this with a tractor too. This is the Gould Carmody house.
Of the ones we have. I think the most beautiful artifact in the house is the mustard stove.
Yes.
But it's a very interesting piece. Not only is it unusual, but if you look at the back, you can see it's got 2 burners and an oven. So it actually did double duty in the parlor. Not only did it warm it, but it was functional as well.
Here's the kitchen. These houses, they had tall ceilings that helped control the heat in the rooms. Look at that big stove. Wow. Deb could make me lots of good stuff on that. Our house, it was built in 1935, but it had 2 stoves in it. It would have had a stove like this in the kitchen, maybe not as elaborate, and a parlor stove like that one we just saw. And our kitchen has a similar, very similar, with the wainscoting and the tongue and groove ceiling, although we painted ours white to brighten it up a bit. Here's the staircase. Imagine hauling a queen-size box spring up here. You can see some of the, this is like almost like a hallway. And then here's all the bedrooms. Nice big windows. Look at the floor, beautiful planks. Looks like pine. Oh, you can go in here. In case you wake up in the middle of the night, don't have to run to the outhouse. What a beautiful old house, eh? Yeah, the room is quite large. The lady was right. The family that lived here had 9 children. The family that lived in our house, which is smaller than this, had 14. Imagine that. But in those days, you were literally only in the house to eat and sleep. The rest of the time, everybody was outside doing stuff. It's not like today. Wouldn't want to negotiate that after a few wobbly pops. Here's some more implements. This is a roller. It would have been pulled by a horse or a Fortune tractor. If you look on Google, you will find a thing that for people that bought Fortune tractors in the late teens and the early 1920s that still had a bunch of this horse-drawn implements around, you could actually buy a set of reins and linkages and stuff that you could sit on this seat and operate the Fortune tractor remotely. I'm not sure how many people were killed and mutilated operating those, pardon me, but it did exist. This looks like, I guess, a seed drill. This is some kind of probably a potato harvester. I think that's what that is too. And that thing over there is a steam-powered fire pump. So it had a little boiler, and it ran, and it pumped water. So the firemen would draw this with a team of horses and bring this to the fire. We have arrived at the Nesbitt shed. Let's see what's inside here. Here's a bunch of farm implements, all kinds of little things. There's even a great big old straight 6 flathead engine back there. It looks like it may be a stationary engine. It's got a belt pulley on it. Here's some more. There's another little engine. Some plows. Land rollers. Pretty interesting. And here we have a Model N Fortune tractor.
Your class is the one.
So these were made from 1928 until 1945. This one, I think the sign says in 1930.
Well, in mine, we have an axolotl. Oh. And we have a lizard.
Our big blue Fortune Major is a the direct descendant of that. The Fordson F was first, then that Fordson N, and then the E27N, like we have, was the third in line. Here's a display of vintage motorcycles. This one here is interesting. My grandfather was a dispatch rider in the Second World War, so I guess he would have rode something like this. So here's Tractor Row, I guess. We've got this little guy. I don't know, is it a wheel horse? Cute little thing, whatever it is. And this is a Farm All H. The fellow tells me they actually use it every day. They use this every day to pull the feed wagon out for their cattle. So this thing still working. Look at that. It says 1942, and it's 80 years old, and it's still working hard every day. And there's the big blue beast. Here's a couple of pretty cool old drawn road graders. I guess you would pull this. You could pull this with a team of horses. You could pull it with a tractor or a traction engine. It would be controlled from up here. There's a platform for the operator to stand on. And you can raise and lower the blade, adjust the angle of it, adjust the aggressiveness of it. Well, at least he's got a little bit of a leaf spring there for comfort, a buggy spring. And here's a lot more simple. Doesn't look like an operator would ride on it. This would just be set and then drawn by a couple of horses. Pretty cool though. This is an old rake, and here is the remains, and I mean the remains of a running gear for a farm wagon. Alright, well that's a wrap. We're going to get this thing back up the trailer and head back to the ranch. Let's see if it'll start, eh? Alright, so we're going to wrap it up now. It's starting to thin out a little bit. We're going to head home, get unloaded, and see who made the NASCAR playoffs. Well, I guess that's that. We made it back home. The Blue Beast did great. Everybody loved it at the show. Also, very happy with the way the Ram 1500 handled the towing. Normally, I would have used the 2500, but I really want to see how this thing fares with some, I wouldn't exactly call this heavy towing, but certainly moderate towing. This is about 6,000 pounds here that it's pulling, and some pretty decent tongue weight. And with our airlift airbags, it seems to be holding it up nicely. So that's all good. Anyway, I'm going to get this thing off the trailer, get it put back in the barn, and at the end of this week, we're going to load it back up. And it's going to go up to Elgin Park and spend the weekend at Uxbridge. Oh, pardon me, Deb says in 2 weeks. It's going to spend the weekend at the Uxbridge Fall Fair. They have a tractor display up there, and I've been asked if I could bring one or two, and I'll gladly do that to support the fair. So, that all said, I want to thank you for tuning in. Hope you'll tune back in again. And until then, this is Kevin checking out from the Claremont Classic Garage. So long for now.